Hello, listeners. It's DJ Pissboy, and this is T-Boy Swag. Happy New Year, and welcome back to Winter Quarter. I have a special guest today um, to talk about their thrilling music. This is someone we've talked before. They're a regular guest, a delightful side character that always comes on and has a round of applause associated with it. I I love this person. I love their music. Um, welcome, DJ Hot Chip and Lie, otherwise known as.
Hello everyone. Yes, it is DJ Hot Chip and Lie. You can find my music under a stage name, which is Fabian Rivers. Might be subject to change, who knows? But for now, it is yeah. For the purposes, that is the stage name that we have. But yes. Besides that, to the everyone else, I'm known as DJ Hot Chip and Lie.
Yeah, the true name,
Yes.
DJ Hot Chip and Lie, but music findable under Fabian Rivers.
Yes.
This new year of T-Boy Swag, we really want to focus on trans art and trans art creators. So we have beloved DJ Hot Chip and Lie to talk about their new single and their upcoming EP release.
Yes, so excited.
You released the single, like it's the 14th. That it was quite literally yesterday, and it was really good. We're going to be including it in the episode, so check it out in the next music break to listen to it. What was the it's called Sacrifice. What was kind of the motivation of this song, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So oh my god, it's like so weird talking about my music because I feel like I rarely ever get the chance to. So this is like I'm like trying to okay, really think about what I practice like in the shower when I would be interviewed and all of that stuff. So Sacrifice was a pretty interesting song. So the words, I always kind of have like recurring motifs or just like words in my mind of like, okay, I want to have a song that's named this, I want to have a song named that, or I just want to like have this theme within my music. And so years ago, I had a song called Sacrifice that I put out like very on the low, like very like come stream this Google Drive link that I have type thing. It might have been on SoundCloud, but it was a really bad song. But I've always loved the word sacrifice. I feel like it's such a like double, like I don't know, like it's like a scary word. I would like people I guess are scared of the word sacrifice, but I also think it's like there's like obviously benefits to sacrificing, and so I just like that nuance to the word. But basically like the inspo behind this sacrifice, like the one that's actually out, was summer. I wrote this in the summer of last year, which was like 2022, and like late summer actually. And it was just basically after a time where like me and a friend stopped being friends, and it's just kind of like that awkward period of like, well, not awkward, but it's just like that period where you start thinking about like everything and like why you stopped being friends with them in the first place. Sorry, my throat is like um my allergies are like clearing me right now. But um yeah, so that was basic what was I saying? So basically, yeah, that was a lot of what inspired like the need to like write a song. I was like, I kind of want to write a song about this. And I was like looking into like what I could write it about and stuff like that. And then the word sacrifice just hit me because one of the things that they like did to really like get me to be like, okay, let's not be friends anymore is like they started to like hang out with other people, which okay, this is gonna sound like okay, let me like finish. They started to hang out with other people, but like they would purposely like not really like include me into what they were doing, and they would like say like we were in a room with five other people, they would like make it a thing to like interact and take photos with and like post photos with everyone else, but like they basically like leave me out of it. And just like a bunch of other stuff like that. That was just like very interesting. And so I just thought like it'd be an interesting metaphor to say like I guess I was kind of sacrificed in order to like make way for these other people. Um so I just was like it'd be an interesting like like concept to write a song where it's like I don't want to be sacrificed, like please don't let me be sacrificed in a way. Um and just like having this like really strong word be tied with the metaphor of just like I'm not friends with someone or like I'm begging a friend to like not ditch me basically.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like the concept of sacrifice going both ways, of like them kind of sacrificing you out of that relationship, like in favor of other people, and then you kind of like cutting them off as well. Like kind of that like mutual, like just having to like yours is like in the reluctant sacrifice sense too. That's really interesting. I I was wondering, like, you said that you had a sacrifice song before, and now you have a new one. Um, where do you kind of see like your music making like development between the times of that like release, and what like for you as an artist, what has like changed and what has like made you look at like the old sacrifice and being like, I'm gonna redo this? Like what was really kind of a catalyst point for that?
Yeah, so I love this question. So the interesting part about me is like I've always been making music. Like I've been making music since I was like 12 years old, 11 years old. So like I mean, granted, quote unquote music, like a beat, like something like that. It's still music, but you know, it's not like fully fleshed out. Um, but the sacrifice, like the old one that I made, was very like I feel like the okay. Let me rephrase how I'm gonna answer this. I feel like the biggest change, and this might sound just like really like on the nose, but I think it is really impactful. It's like I think one of the biggest changes from like where I was making music before and where I am now is honestly age. Because when I was making music as like a 14, 15, 16-year old, I was very like worried about what people were thinking about my music and I let that influence like the music I was creating. Um and I feel like at that time like I just really wanted to like it was a very interesting time because I feel like now music is a little bit more open to like experimentalism and a bunch of other things. Whereas like I think at that time when I was making music circa 2014, 15, like 16, 17, um, I feel like I was a little bit scared to like be outside like what would conform to like alternative pop sphere world. But I think now that I'm a little bit older and have more experience with like the music and like the world and all of those things, I feel that like I'm no longer afraid of like, oh, I can like try this in the song or like experiment with this or like let it sound like this, where that was like a really big um like blocking stone in my earlier years, was that like I let myself be like I let myself be defined by like the things that were around me and not let myself like just explore things however I want them to be and things like that. And I hope that answers the question. I think that was all to it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Especially like I remember I was like listening to like when you released your sacrifice, I like listened to like some of your other stuff on Spotify because I didn't know it was on Spotify. I was like, oh wait, your music's on Spotify. um and I was like listening to like some of your older stuff as well. And it's really interesting looking at your older music and your new music because like it's they're very there's like a similarity we that like popish like hyper pop influence style, but like the Sacrifice, the new one, is really abstract. And it's
Interesting.
like at least how I was like listening to it, it felt like more abstract and like almost kind of in that like Sophie vein of like artificial in a natural way, you know, like where it's like the artificiality is so natural. Um and it was really, really cool. Um I'm wondering like for this upcoming EP, what do you kind of see like the your influences musically from like because I know we've been on the show talking about music before, and especially hyper pop music. So I'm wondering like what has influenced you like orally for this album, not album, EP. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bonus with this question. And you'll see what I mean. So this EP is basically it's called From the Vault. And let me make sure that I have the name right because I butchered it myself, and I'm like, how are you gonna butcher your own EP word? No, but it's called From the Vault. Um, and basically the way I described it, it's like a last hurrah and like a last final goodbye. It's a lot of the a lot of the music that like my older me created, I would say. So Sacrifice, I mean, granted it was like summer of 2022, but like I still very much felt like defined by like just certain things in my life that were going on. On the EP, I have some other songs that I wrote when I was like around the same age that I wrote like some of the other songs I've put out in my discography. I have like I just it's like basically like a mini just like collection of songs that I'm like have been sitting around in my hard drive, and I've like hesitated on putting out, not put out for like reasons of like I need to put it out with the whole body of work, and then that body of work never gets completed. So I was just like, we need these songs out. Like we just need them out of here so I could like not focus on them anymore. That's basically what I did with the EP was just push to finish some like old demos, push to finish some like old songs that I've always like felt really connected to. And I guess like the sound inspirations for that EP is that like they're kind of all over the place, and I think that's okay. But I am like kind of doing all the finishing touches through like my modern lens. So like I'm trying to influence. I'm really influenced. Really, like a lot of this EP, I would say like obviously Charlie XCX, and like Imogen Heap, and also um I feel like those two are my main influences, and kind of like Arca in a sense, but um like literally a lot of the EP is just very all over the place in terms of genres, and I battled with that for a little bit, but I thought it's fine because I just wanted to be like representative of kind of how all over the place these past couple of years been in terms of creating music and all of those things. But I have another album coming out later in the year. And that one's gonna be like a really, really like to the nose concept album with influences, a style, everything. And I think in terms of that music and the music I've been creating for that project, it's been very influenced by a lot of it's really been just like a big collage of stuff. But I guess I would say the main influences I have for that album at the moment are like Pink Panthers. I weirdly really love Alice DJ, who sings Better Off Alone. I've like checked out her other stuff and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Um, and also just like really just like I have some stuff inspired by like That Kid and like the Masenda, Addison Rae's unreleased music, which is so good. Like I've been really, really inspired by that music.
remember
Um,
you shared like one of Addison Rae's like unreleased things with me, and I was like, wait, why does this eat? Like,
no,
this
like
is
I
so good.
love Addison Rae. Like her unreleased, like I have a theory. This is probably for another episode, but like I have a theory, like she was set to become like a huge pop sensation, but like the main song she put out like flopped, so her label just like gave up on her, or I don't know. Her music's so good. Or her unreleased music. But yeah, that album is like such a more conceptual album, and I'm really, really excited about it. But I just wanted to drop this little EP as like a little, hey y'all, I'm not dead, I promise. Here's some music, basically.
New year, new music. All right. I think we're going to take a little music break. You're going to listen to some of DJ Hot Chips and Line's beautiful songs, and we'll be back to talk more about the EP and the upcoming album. The song, the EP, the album, I have so many questions. All right.
Tell me what you say it. Break it. Tell me what you break it. Cause I'm all out of always being fucking patient. Tested my luck with you and I've never felt so vacant. Sway it, tell me what you sway it. Change it, tell me what you change it. Cause I can't change any of the parts that you're playing. If this was all I had, would you still wanna take it? And I don't wanna be the one you sacrifice. I gave you all I had, but you can't recognize your empty lies. Wasted all my time burning down my shrines. And I can't be the one you sacrifice. No matter what I do, you wouldn't sympathize. My pity life wasted all my time being your sacrifice. Say it, you know I would say it. If I could break it, you know I would break it. Cause I'm all out of always being fucking patient. Kept you the company, I've never felt so vacant. And I don't wanna be the one you sacrifice. I gave you all I have, but you can't recognize your empty lies. Wasted all my time burning down my shrines. And I can't be the one you sacrifice. No matter what I do, you wouldn't sympathize. My pity life wasted all my time being your sacrifice. Your sacrifice. I can't help but obsess with the way you move across that living room. Your eyes light up at the thought of all of them loving you. Cause baby, I got it, they can't forget it. But I don't think I know how to deal with it. I don't think I know just how to put up with that. Cause baby, you're so soft to the touch. I know that shit's been pretty rough. And baby, with those kaleidoscope eyes, fall apart like velvet in the night. Cause baby, you're so soft to the touch. I know that shit's been pretty rough. And baby, with those kaleidoscope eyes, fall apart like velvet in the night. Fall apart like velvet in the night. Baby, you're so soft to the touch. I know that you're pretty rough. And baby, with those kaleidoscope eyes, I fall apart like velvet in the night. Fall apart like velvet in the night. Fall apart like baby, you're so soft to the touch. I know that shit's been pretty rough. And baby, with those kaleidoscope eyes, fall apart like velvet in the night.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to tboy swag with DJ Hotchman Live. We were talking about the EP and the influences for it, and then the new album that will also be coming out. DJ Hotchman Live, you have been a busy bee making music. I'm impressed. I am so excited to see what you make and everything coming out. And you mentioned that the EP is kind of like saying a goodbye to like older music and kind of like putting it behind yourself as a retrospective almost. Because it's like a retrospective kind of like leaving of this like past self and this past creations to a degree, how do you see like your music going forward, and even that album that's out in is it coming out next year?
The plan is for it's on track, hopefully, if all goes well, to come out this year.
Okay.
Later in the year.
So you have this album that's out in the distance that's going to be all new music as a concept album. Where do you see like your growth from these 2 points of like leaving this old type of like you're leaving this old music behind, but still loving it? Like it's still, you have this like love in this by giving it like this retrospective kind of EP release. And then the new music, you mentioned like all different types of influences and stuff. Where do you see just in general your music kind of going? And what do you kind of like want out of your own music? It's a deep question, but
it's a great question though. I love this question. So I feel like with the EP coming out and just like it being like the last, so kind of like the last goodbye to a lot of these songs. I feel like I kind of see my new music going, I think just really embracing a lot of my, this doesn't sound silly, but it's just embracing a lot of my weirdness and just a lot of like what makes me myself. Because I feel like in my older music, I kind of was like trying to like, I mean, because I feel like music is an interesting kind of like music or art sphere to be in, because I feel like obviously like you make music for yourself, but you obviously want other people to hear it or listen to it. So you kind of are in this 50-50 pool of like, do I make music for myself? Do I make music for other people? Where it's like that balance in between. And I think that was a big thing in my earlier music, was that like, I think I was more influenced by like what other people could think about my music than like what I think about my music. But I feel like moving forward, my new music, I plan for it to be just really like to the wall, like 100% on like the level of just like absurdity, of camp, of like every little thing that makes me me. And also just making it a lot more honest. It's like one of my big goals. Just because I feel like in the past I was really scared to share certain things about myself, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to like talk about this certain thing. And literally like when I was putting out a lot of my older music, I had not experienced like a good portion of the things I've experienced now. So I'm like, now that I've experienced those things, I feel like I have those as like things to write about and things I want to discuss. So like my new music, I just expect it to be a lot more provocative. I think that's the right word. I was getting confused with another one, but I think it's like provocative. Like I wanted to cause not necessarily like anger or anything like that, but I just wanted to cause like a really strong emotion to people. And I also just wanted to be super like hyper X, like hyper pop, but also hyper like electronic, hyper, just a lot of adjectives. Um, and also just very just bold and honest. That's how I would say it's like my new direction of music that I'm like making. Well, yes, the new music that's coming out like later in the year. That's how I plan it to be, and that's also how I never like to stick to one thing. So honestly, like if you talk to me next year, I might be like, yeah, I kind of just want to go back to my roots and this and this and that. So who knows how it will change, but I think the main thing is just like sticking more to myself.
Totally. I really loved your like kind of live and let live philosophy with it, where you're just like, yeah, this is how I felt back then. This is how I feel now. I don't know how I'll feel in the future. I think that's really beautiful, and just kind of your acceptance of now doing music for yourself, really. And like having, like you said, that balance of having it be for other people, but then also being for yourself. And I really, really think like leaning more in towards the for yourself and your own enjoyment is always more beautiful. And it's always more like the girls that get it, get it. The girls that don't, do they even deserve the time of day? Like, I guess for like you've said you've like been doing music for a long time, and even like at UCLA, you're a design student. I remember like when you were telling me about doing music, you're like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to do music like this entire time. And that's been your main priority. How have you like kind of on a artist level like learned a lot of this stuff? Because I was like listening to your music and I was like, this is so beautiful and refined. Like it was like a lot of the beats and a lot of the like effects we're doing like throughout the song. I was just like, wait, this is so good. Where do you kind of like, how did you kind of just like develop your style, and where did you kind of learn this? Because I can't fathom making music. Like I'm tone deaf as fuck. Like I'll show you, baby. I'll show you a song I made for my class one time. I showed it to one of our other friends, and they were on the floor. Like it was bad. It was bad. So I'm just kind of like really curious as like someone who can't practice this art of like what your process is, and like what like you really like kind of how you developed everything.
First of all, I would love to hear this song. I think it could be a hit. I don't know, but that's just me. But thank you so much for like the kind words, really. I think, it's been a long time. But honestly, like, I'm not gonna tell you like my whole like journey, but I'll just kind of give you like little bits and pieces that kind of make the most sense. But honestly, like I really kind of started making music as like I was just making like mashups, really. That was like the first kind of thing I was doing, was making mashups. And I think I was like 11 years old or whatnot. And I was just like, this is something I want to do. Like I kind of want to like learn into it. And like it was really a lot of just like hours and hours of like looking things up online and watching tutorials. And like I really can say I'm like a child of YouTube and like a child of the internet, because without the internet I wouldn't have learned a lot of these things, like making my own music. And that's basically what I started off with, was just like making remixes. And like I was a little like, I knew how to get certain like instrumentals for songs, like multi-tracks and all that stuff. I have a really funny story of like how, actually cut that out. I'll tell you after, but I'll cut. Yeah. Basically, I just started off like that, making remixes, mashups and stuff like that. And then I kind of realized like there's a certain point where I was like, I need to just like make my own stuff, because like making remixes is fun, but there was just something about like, oh my God, I need to put out. There's like this sort of like adrenaline to putting stuff out that you make. And you can probably relate to this too with any work that you've made. But since I was making work that was technically like somebody else's, but just like recomposed by me, I was like, I want to experience the feeling of like I'm putting something out and it's like my own mind behind everything. And so I just like honestly just began to, I'm like self-taught with everything music related. Like I never, prior to coming to college, I've never taken like music classes or anything like that. And music classes were just like a thing I've more recently been doing. Um, and so I literally just like would sit in my laptop for hours and just like look up how to make this type of beat, how to make that type of beat, how to like make this effect, that effect. Like every tutorial about music that it was on YouTube, I probably watched it. Um, and I was like there, my younger self, like um imitating all of those things. And those that really helped me just like put out, like get the ground going and start putting stuff out. Um, and then I feel like since I was a very like production oriented person at first, I was like, well, now I kind of need like lyrics and music, like vocals to go with it. And I was like very tone deaf at one point, but like I think working around beats and production kind of helped me get a sense of like melody and just sort of like all of those things. And so I would literally just start practicing vocals on my own. Like I would just start practicing vocals like with YouTube tutorials and like YouTube videos and just like take little mini singing lessons on YouTube. And stuff like that. And then in terms of songwriting, I would like watch videos and like try to like see tutorials, but like none of it ever felt relevant, weirdly enough. Which I don't know, maybe I'll go back and revisit it. But now I'm like actually taking real songwriting classes, like in person and everything. And maybe like I'm honing in more on my songwriting, but my songwriting was just like influenced by like the music around me that I was listening to and like just like books and everything I was kind of reading. And I was just like, okay, like how would I say? Because how like I've never been a bad writer, so I was just like, how can I take like the writing I do like academically and just like make it creative and make it for my music? So okay, this is such a big rant, but basically, I guess not rant, like tangent, but I guess how I would sum up everything in terms of music wise, it's just like I just took a little bit of things I already know about like other things, whether it is like writing, like the singing I would hear in other songs, and then just all the production that I kind of learned to do on my own, and just sort of paired all of that to like start making my own music and start putting stuff out. And granted, like I will say, I've never been like, I haven't always been as good as I am now. Like, some of my older stuff is really, really bad. Like I would hate for it to like play anywhere. I would want to like disappear. But I've like worked to kind of like create a more like consistent sound and just like there are certain things about like my music that I like kind of like put a pin in, like, okay, I want to like revisit this and I like have this as a consistent theme. Like I think one big thing about my music is like I don't mind using autotune. Like I've always used it, but back in my earlier music, I would like try to hide it and I would like try to make it seem as like apparent. But now I'm like, I'm gonna put autotune on this ballad if I need to, but because it's not just because like, oh, like trying to cover up like anything. It's mainly more just as an effect. I love just the way it makes my voice sound because I feel like I just love the fact that it's like there's obviously a human singing it, but it's like with the assistance of technology, which is kind of like how I describe my entire music. Like I would have never been able to be a musician if it wasn't for technology, just because like I wasn't afforded the luxury of like any instrument lessons. My parents couldn't really like afford to put me in like music classes. So I literally just like had a laptop and a dream and just like went all out. And I'll cut the question there because I've been talking so much about this, but that's basically how I would describe like my musical journey.
That's really cool, especially like the self-taught aspect of it all of like you just weren't like you were kind of like musical education was just kind of like self-guided and very like much just you're kind of going with like your own interests and your own like likes at the time. And I think that's really, really cool. About auto tuning, I think that's really interesting. I really like the like leaning into the auto tune of not trying to hide it and make it feel natural, but going into that almost like uncanny valley of knowing it's not natural. And then like that's the point. I think, yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm obsessed, and trust me, when it comes to that song that I mentioned earlier, you don't want to listen to it. It's there's lyrics, and I can't even hear the lyrics because I covered it up with sound. It was like a lot. But I guess kind of in a like kind of tangential thing of like your musical creation, and then you're a visual artist on top of that, as kind of like your major, like your design major. So you do a lot of like visual design. And how do you kind of see that pairing with music, especially since like you designed the cover for your single, right? I can just tell because it looks like your style. And I'm wondering like how you kind of see your musical practice and your visual design practice like kind of enmesh with each other, because I feel like the cover for Sacrifice is so good. Like it, and then like in the vault, from the vault, with the pink tone of it, it's just really, really like evocative. And like I was wondering your kind of process with that and all.
Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting question, because I didn't really start to do visual design until I realized like, oh my God, I need artwork for my music. So like I've always been into like photography and just like a lot of mediums like that. And I just kind of did those as like hobbies. But when I started to kind of take my music more seriously, it was like, okay, like we gotta like put some stuff out. That's when I realized like I need graphic design or I need artwork for my stuff. So that kind of really began my journey of like, as I was kind of finding my musical identity, I was also finding my visual art identity, because I was like making artwork for myself for like my music, but that was also kind of intrinsically like myself as a visual artist. Um, and so I honestly like a lot of my visual art kind of just started as like a creating stuff for my music, and then it kind of started to branch out, whereas like when I wasn't making music I was like working on some visual art stuff on just like for fun or just like for my own like exploration. And it just kind of started to build from there. And I think what I love about being a visual artist and a musician is that like I get to kind of create like my own universe or just my own kind of world of uh perception. Like everything I put out, all the visuals, anything like that, it's all like 100% me. Same with the music. So it just feels like it's all like wrapped up in this nice little sort of gift or like present, I would say. And so I feel like, how do I see it kind of going forward? So I feel like there was a time where I kind of felt conflicted. I was like, I can't really be a visual artist and a musician. I kind of have to pick one or the other. But I think I'm like really happy that I've kind of just decided like, no, like I can I can do both, right? Both can coexist. But I plan to like really use a lot of what I've learned in my visual design studies and put it into my music. And it kind of has like influenced some of my music in a way, because kind of like when I make songs, I think of like what the artwork would look like. And so I'm like, okay, I kind of wanted to match the artwork, or I wanted to match like the art that I plan to put out with it. And so, yeah, like I think moving forward, I would love to be able to create more with like more visual art and have it be paired with my music. Like I would love to like make music videos, like interactive experiences, just so many things like that, and have it be paired with music, because now it kind of could feel like, okay, like my visual art and my music skills are like on par. So now I could just like push them both even further. Um, in terms of for the artwork from the vault, so fun interesting thing, which I don't think a lot of people know about this, but know about that. I don't think a lot of people know, but the artwork for from the vault was actually sun printed. So it's all photos of my eye that I like took on my phone, and then I just compiled them onto a little block in Photoshop, and then I printed that, and then sun printed it onto like the blue paper that it comes with, and then in Photoshop I like made it pink because I wish there was pink sun paper, but there's not, unfortunately. So I can actually have it. Let me hold on. This is a little bit breaking camera, but I have the actual sun print, which if you're a listener, I'm so sorry you can't see it, but for DJ Pissboy, you'll get a special treat of seeing the.
Oh, you're kidding.
So I actually have it as a little piece, which is cool. But
can you like send a picture so we can put it up? It's like this is the tboy swag exclusive.
The yummy treat in question.
The yummy treat in question. This is incredible. I love it. I was wondering
Thank
how you got that effect. I was like, oh, is it like a diffuse glow? Like,
yeah, no, it's literally a sun print, and it's because at the time I was working with a lot of sun prints for a class, and there's like a really cool. I feel like sun prints have a interesting philosophy to them because it's like, I don't know, like it kind of reminds me of film in the sense that like once you print it, that's kind of what you have. And so I was kind of like, and it's just like a really interesting, like it has to be created with like water and you have to kind of put it out to the sun or like the light. And so I just found that kind of a very interesting metaphor for like creating music and like this kind of time capsule. It's like a lot of this stuff was like in the vault, and then I'm like bringing it out to the light, and that like exposes
oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Like that's so I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
Thank you.
I really love, like, I need to look at that print up close now because I'm like, it looks so beautiful, and I really love the simplicity of it, and exactly that, like, this is a retrospective and kind of it's from the vault. It is like a time capsule type thing. And those types of sun prints are so liminal and so effervescent in that, like, it's very like not permanent and not and very like of a specific time, but also like very like fragile too. All right, it looks like we have our next music break. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll have more cool questions and answers and discussion coming up. Enjoy the music.
Under the street lights is when you mean right. Thought it was okay when you would breathe tight, but looking back at the night, I think you hated your life. Did you stay away? I don't even want you to stay. So sick of playing this game, of guessing why I stay. I think it's about time to pray that this will all fade to gray. But will you? I think this is best for the both of us, 'cause I'm tired of being here and you're tired of the fight. Fire burns brighter when two people light it, and if I'm judging ours right now, it's best if we fight it. They say a fire burns brighter when two people light it, and if I'm judging ours right now, it's best if we time has flew by, and I hate that I wanna try, but what do you expect from me? I'm always up for surprise, but I think this is the right time, even though I think you'd rather die. Do you? What the hell is even up with me? 1 second I hated you, and the next I want you with me. Just break me apart so you can finally set me free from the thought that all of this would ever be something. Yeah, I think this is best for the We're moving so fast now, feel it in my head now. I like how it feels, I wish it was real. It's easy to fake now, easy to explain now. Wishing you were here now, but what can I do? I'm easy to fool, push it all away now. I can't take it, yeah, I feel it on my skin whenever you want to break it. But I'm starting to think that maybe we can make it, cause it's too much, maybe we're too much, but you want to push it too much too soon. Baby, you're never for me, but I just can't let you leave me. So if you wanna be my poison, do it. Addicted to the way you make me lose it. But if you wanna be my poison, do it. Be my poison, baby, do it. You're moving so fast now, feel it sinking in now. Don't like how it feels, wish it wasn't real. How you're changing me now, easy to explain how you're making me feel now. But what can I do? I'm easy to fool, push it all away now. I can't take it, yeah, I feel it on my skin whenever you want to break it. But I'm starting to think that maybe we can make it, cause it's too much, maybe we're too much, but you want to push it too much too soon. Baby, you're never for me, but I just can't let you leave me. So if you wanna be my poison, do it. Addicted to the way you make me lose it. But if you wanna be my poison, do it. Be my poison, baby, do it.
Welcome back, listeners. Hopefully you enjoyed the nice little music interlude. We're back with DJ Hot Chip and Lie and me, DJ Pissboy. I guess one question I have too now, because you were talking about how you want like kind of interactive experiences and like experimental experiences with your music and having experimental visuals with your music. Do you have anything like you would love to do for this EP or this album, whether it be like music videos or like interactive installations, or like what type of like stuff are you like either planning, if you give us some hits on that, or stuff that's like ideally like in the most ideal world ever, you would have this, and this. Yeah, I'm really curious about that because I love interactive installations and like especially with the music, like guerrilla promotion.
Yeah. So I've been kind of thinking about what I'm gonna do to like promote. Okay, I was making sure I wasn't on mute. Like promoting this EP or just kind of like creating work with the EP. I do have one interactive thing that's in the works for this EP. I won't talk too much about it because I want it to be a surprise, but I'll just say that it's like basically going to give you a chance to like give you the POV of like making the songs yourself of my EP. So you'll just be able to play around with certain like elements of the song, of the songs of some of the songs of the EP. So that's all I'll say for now. More information to come. But I honestly, I've always thought about music videos. I've always been like, oh, I want to make music videos, but like, I think that's kind of the part of it is that like, I have such a like eye for like, okay, if I want to make a music video, it needs to look like this, and this, and this, and this. And if it can't look like that, then I don't want to make the music video. But I think for this EP, it would be fun to just do some sort of like more visuals. I'm planning to do some like very slightly, but I guess we'll kind of see where all of that takes me. I also want to start producing actual merch. I mean, I have done some merch in the past, like I've done some posters and CDs, but I want to like print out more posters than CDs, maybe some stickers. I'll just have things to represent the from the Vault brand. The Fabian XCX or Hot Chip and Lie brand. So that yeah. So I do have some stuff planned, but I like want to keep stuff in the wrap, but I also want to spoil it. But it's just I think it'd be better if it's not spoiled, but trust me, it's all really exciting.
Yes, listeners will have to simply just follow fabian xcx and see more updates and like stay in the loop. I'll definitely be promoting it. I want merch. I'm so excited, and like that interactive piece is so cool. Of like kind of like deconstructing your music, your own music is that's incredible. I'm obsessed and I can't wait to play it. I guess like you have so much lined up musically this year. Like this is your year, kind of. Like you have this single January, then your EP comes out in February, and then your album comes out later this year. Um, how how like was this like intentional of like you're like this year's my year? Or is it like everything just kind of happened to like get completed around the same time? Like what like intention, like was there an intentionality with the time? Because I feel like so many artists I know, especially trans artists I know, have been like planning on releasing stuff or like making stuff this year. So I find it really interesting. Just like you have so much lined up. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was somewhat of an intention. I think I have just been putting stuff off for too long. And it was like nearing 20, it was like 2022. And I was like, okay, 2022, I want to try to make things. And then that never really happened. So then I kind of was just like, okay, like we need to make stuff in 2023. Like we need to make things happen. Like this needs to be it. And so these past couple like months, really like the ends of 2022, I was really pushing myself to like, okay, you need to you need to make things happen. Um, and I feel like 2023 will be like the last year I'm in school and just sort of the last year of like the last year of a lot of things. And so I was just kind of like, okay, like I think this will be a great year to finally really start kicking things up a notch. Um, and like I think the last time I put something out was when I was like a project, like a body of work was when I was like 18. Like I've been 18 for like a few months. And now I'm like 22. So I'm like, so much time has passed. So many things have occurred to me since then. So I'm kind of like, okay, like this, like I need to sort of revisit, like, no, what I'm saying, like I sort of need to like channel the energy I had as a younger person and just like put it all into like music and art and all of that stuff and just really like go uh just really go out there. And so honestly, it could have been 2024, 2025, 2022. It's just like all the things lined up for it to be like, okay, we're doing everything in 2023. Like that's just how it's gonna be.
Definitely. That makes sense. And I'm really excited that like I totally understand the like putting stuff off and putting stuff off. And then you're like, oh fuck, I just need to get it out. And I'm so happy that you like kind of gotten to a point where you're like, yeah, I have all of this stuff. Now I'm gonna release it. It's so crazy that like to just have this much like content. I'm like, wow, I'm so fed on like the Baby XCX, the Hot Chip and Live content. Like I'm here for it. Um, I guess what stuff should our listeners look out for in the near future, what should they keep their eye out for? What type of stuff do you want to promote as we end this episode?
Yeah. So keep an eye out for my EP, which comes out on February 17th, which is a Friday. And my song Sacrifice, fun little fact. I planned for it to come out on Friday the 13th, which was yesterday. Because it's like Sacrifice, Friday the 13th, kind of stuff. So that's also out. If you want to check that out. I have some other cool visual art stuff that's in the works. Like 35, like disposable camera, photo series, just a bunch of other cool things. So just you can follow me on Instagram. I'm literally Fabian XEX. So just take out the 4A and put a 4. So F4BIAN XEX. You can see I post like everything on there. And if you're cool, I'll add you to my close friends. And there I like post so much content, I would say.
There's so much tea on the close friends. What happens on close friends stays on close friends.
Stays on close friends, like actually. The
Oh
close friends is for like, funny enough, I think Instagram meant it for it to be like close friends, but I feel like close friends is just like, who do you trust to see like your 2 a.m. impulsive or like random thoughts?
Yeah, I have the most random people on my close friends. I have like my godmom, like people I'm related to. And then like I have people like some of them I'm like, I've interacted with you once, but I like your vibes.
So yeah, you're on the close friends. Exactly.
Well, you're here now. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the first episode of the new year. This is the official 2-year anniversary.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you so much.
1 year anniversary. I lied. I can't do math. 1 year anniversary of tboy swag. This is when we first started and now we're coming back again.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on and kicking off this hopefully really cool just trans art series and trans creation series. Maybe you'll be back to talk about the EP. Go listen to their music. Go. I'm going to be linking it in my promo stuff. We're going to link it everywhere. We're plugging this shit up. I'm so excited and I'm so happy to see like all of your creations like get released and have like get consumed by people. I'm so excited and it's so wonderful to have you on as a guest. All right.
Thank you so much. Wait, really quick. Thank you so much for having me. This has been like my favorite interview I've ever done. This was great and I'm super excited to be in the tboy swag brand. Been a guest for a few times and I'm always happy to come back for literally anything. Like even if it's not my music stuff, I'll come back to talk about like literally whatever is on your mind.
Yes, you are a beloved tboy swag regular. I love talking to you. I'm so excited for everything's gonna come, and yeah, this coming like quarter, all of the episodes are gonna be on Sundays at noon, which is a weird time, but say la vie. So I'm excited for your EP. I'm excited to see just what this year brings for you. And yeah, all right. Goodbye, listeners.
Goodbye.
Hope you found some great music. You found some love for Fabian's great music, and I hope that you had a good time. All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.